Greetings and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. Once again, hello there. Last time we had a little bee boy. He maybe or maybe not murdered somebody with bees. Well, he asked them to get rid of an intruder whose car we stole and they came back to repossess their property, so we're the bad guys and it's our fault that someone's probably dead by bee stings, but that's irrelevant. That's not a problem because we're on Alternia. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, let's continue with Volume 10 of Faraway Lands and Nearby Pals. Well, Zabid was relatively far away in the land of the rural bee hive. And now let's go with the other guy who has a sword, who's like a, I don't know. Is he serious or is he a cosplayer? Oh well, let's find out. You've been lucky enough to acquire a bounty of friendship since you arrived on this planet, but there's still an emptiness nestled right in the crook of your heart's artery. Maybe making one more friend will fix it. It never does. We have a bottomless pit of friendship needs. Maybe this next one will expand inside you just like a sponge in the bath, pushing out all your sadness, loneliness, and insecurity. After all, number 20's the charm. Let's see, Tegirt Kalbur, with his Japanese katana. He's a JoJo character. Okay. I didn't see that previously. I didn't pay attention. Okay. Alright, Mr. Tegirt. JoJo of the future. Alternia. Past. Relative. His eyes are closed as well. He's a blind samurai. Okay. I'm not mentally ready for that, but here we go. In an utterly unsurprising turn of events, the night finds you trolling Alternia in search of, well, trolls. The friendly type, preferably. Although you've been known to work toward wonders with hostile folks too. Yeah, we have convinced some murderers to be our friends. Your current hunting ground appears to be a primarily teal neighborhood, which suits you fine. Teals live relatively comfortable and are usually open, only mildly disdainful of you. This strikes you as a good place to search for companionship. You've got another pressing concern though. A faint glow far on the horizon, which suggests that the sun will be rising soon. A couple hours from now, at most. Nights on Alternia seem to last forever. But when daylight hits, it hits hard, like a truck. But the truck is on fire, and the fire is nuclear fusion, and the truck is a star. Point is, you're not in the mood for another sunburn. You'd better snag a buddy before it's too late. You, the strange hornless thing! Speak of the devil. You look around and spot a troll boy with a stylish hat and a sword sheath behind his back. His clothes are a little shabby, but he carried himself with a rigid, composed air. What are you? Some kind of mutant troll? Or another sentient creature? Definitely the latter, you say. Unless he would prefer the former, in which case you're that, actually. But mutants, you've learned, are not particularly well liked on this planet. An alien? I won't have to cull you then. Not immediately, at least. You don't appear to be a cull-on-sight species. Lucky for you that I won't have to lose my blade. And lucky for me to have found a potential comrade. I know what you seek. Shelter and friendship, not necessarily in that order. You're about to speak up, but he's already moving on. You seek the meeting place of the Eastern Alternian Fine Animated Art Appreciation Society. EFAS. EFAS doesn't really sell anything. Yeah, cosplayer. Got it right in the first try. Or as some less cultured souls called, the Anime Club. Oh, a club! Back home, teachers used to go on and on about how clubs were a wonderful place to meet new friends. You didn't really believe it then, but maybe things are different here on Alternia. You confidently assert that yes, you are here for the animes. Good! I feared I was gonna have to cancel tonight's meeting due to no-shows, but now can proceed as scheduled. Follow me! He's the only one who likes anime on Alternia, that's kind of surprising. He gestures towards his hive and begins to stride confidently toward it, but then he rethinks it, pausing to look back at you. Wait! Subs or dubs? Oh, subs all the way, most personally. Dubs, I prefer the original language, honestly. There's more motion to there, especially the Japanese ones. They just scream a lot. It's fun. Subs. It's entertaining how wrong you are. Fuck you. Dubs are shit. Dubs are generally shit, mate. No ASMR facade here. Dubs are... I mean, they're fine, but like, okay. Basically, what you start off with. You don't switch. One or the other. I personally just prefer subs. Anyway. But even the greatest of Alternia's philosophizers required sparring opponents on the battlefield of the intellect. To challenge your assumptions with my superior logic and taste will be a fulfilling task. Come in. Not really the reaction you're hoping for, but you'd say anything to get into someone's hive, so you'll take it. Tegirt invites you into his hive with a sweeping bow, and you step into the foyer. Okay, he's got a bunch of dakimakuras. That was the word, right? The body pillow things? Sure. And some posters, and that's fine. And tons of swords. Of course he's a sword guy. Of course he's a fucking sword guy. Oh no. Sword guys are bad news, honestly. But at least it's better than... yeah, at least it's better than being some other things. Maybe. The hive looked normal from the outside. Normal by troll standards, at least. But the inner decor has an entirely different vibe to it. It reminds you of Japanese architecture. Tegirt takes off his sandals before entering the next room. You take your shoes off too, if you had any. As you step into this living room, you are assaulted, not literally, thankfully, by an absolute smorgasbord of merchandise. This place looks like someone did a Google search for otaku collection and opened the first result. Yeah. Posters and scrolls adorn every inch of wall available, and inches of wall that aren't available are blocked by shelves containing all sorts of DVDs, manga, and other such forms of media. On a large glass shelving unit near the room's exit, you spy a veritable cornucopia of anime figurines, most of whom seem to be in varying states of undress. Yeah, well, that's what sells. That's what people make because that's what sells. You would like to describe it as a tasteful nudity, but no, it's not. It's rarely tasteful. That's kind of the point. That's kind of the point, though. Come on now. But you would also like to describe yourself as the most popular person alternate on both, and both would be a lie. Yeah. Tegirt has arranged his merch meticulously according to blood color, from red at the bottom to fuchsia at the top. I see you are admiring my fine East Alternian collectibles. I polish them daily, just as I polish my blade. Oh no, of course I studied the blade guy as well. God damn it. Don't touch them, or you'll taste folded steel. Yeah, it's not actually that. It's folded because it's shit iron. The Japanese iron purity was so bad they had to fold it sometimes to get rid of the fucking impurities. Doesn't make it better. The fucking European sword from the same era cuts through those things easily because we just happen to have better steel locally. It's just happenstance. You solidly tracked your hand. You wouldn't dream of touching them. That was never ever something you were planning on doing. You won't even breathe on them. In fact, you step far away from the collectibles, just in case. With that step, of course it's a little Shiba Inu, right? That's what it was called. You bump into something behind you, and hear a soft ruff. As you spin around to look, you see what must be Tegirt's Lusus surveying you with an intense gaze. It looks like a lot like a Shiba Inu, if they were twice the size and had opposable everything, huh? Honestly, watching it scuttle around like a monkey while sniffing at you is pretty entrancing. Eventually, you seem to meet its standards, because that's out of the room. You hear some rustling in what you assume is the kitchen. That was the Dashi Inu, my Lusus. He taught me everything I know. I could not have asked for a better sensei. Yeah, dogs are great, you respond, and then immediately wish you could take that back. Dogs are great. That's got to be the blandest possible statement you could have made, but it's correct, you know? And possibly inaccurate too. What's this thing called? A bark beast? A fetch fiend? A wolf gremlin? Oh, Tegirt isn't paying attention to you anymore. He's busy perusing his shelves, picking out some DVDs.
Per my viewing schedule, we'll watch a carefully curated selection of episodes from one classic and from one recent release. But, since you're a newcomer, it might be best not to jump into the middle of last series, Philosopher Half Iron.
Oh, right, that thing.
Anyway. Perhaps we shall instead begin with the first season of School Fiend Heroism and transition to some episodes of Kismet Stuck Morning.
Okay. I get the reference for two of those. The first one was Full Metal Alchemist, obviously. And School Hitfest, obviously, is My Hero Academia. What's Kismet Stuck Morning supposed to be, though? I have no idea. That one could be fucking anything.
The original airing, of course. Not the censored one with the ridiculous CGI dragon. Ugh.
Sure. Looks like Tegirt intends to take full control of the morning's activities, which you find entirely copacetic. The less you need to assert your own opinions and make your own choices, the less likely you are to fuck up. It's probably not a healthy way to live, but it's gotten you somewhere between 1 to 19 friends so far, so you're sticking to it. With deft and precise movements, Tegirt retrieves a disc from its container and pops it into the troll equivalent of a DVD player. It makes a slimy chugging noise, it sucks the disc in, and like usual, you aren't sure if it's an inanimate object or a living being. Either way, you're a little disgusted. The DVD player hums and Tegirt's TV lights up with a colourful title screen. You're ready to get settled in for just a journey through the wonderful world of the animes, but he frowns and pauses the episode less than a minute in.
Hang on. This isn't the correct copy. The localization on these lines was changed after the original translation was called by Pureblood for crimes against buffoonery. I specifically ordered the first edition and paid extra for it. This is unacceptable!
Tegirt stops the DVD player, ejects the disc, and places it back in its case.
Come, there's still time in the night. We need to go resolve this immediately. The shop that imported to me is nearby.
He heads for the door and beckons for you to follow, which you do. You guess it was too much to hope for a quiet morning inside, wasn't it? At least you get to go shopping for animes, which sounds fun enough. Will be one of those fancy automated stores, you wonder?
No, unlike most stores on Alternia, this specialty shop is run by a living troll. A fellow collector who would not entrust such work to automation. So one would expect, when actual think pan involved, there would be no careless mistakes like this. At least I'm on good terms with the owner, so I doubt there will be trouble.
You, on the other hand, expect plenty of it. Pretty much everything on this goddamn planet has been trouble so far. Does he know how awful it is here? You don't want to human-splain to him or anything, but things are pretty awful here.
Things are pretty awful here.
Oh, you guess he knows. He's staring at one of the many billboards that line the streets, which has been defaced with bright and red graffiti. It's saying some pretty nasty stuff about Teresa.
Rebel sentiments grow by the moment. Alternia lies on the verge of peril. A blade's edge. And not any blade, but the blade of a laser-sharp, folded steel katana. Forged in the East Alternia moonlight, heated by the bellows breath of a magnificent draconian Lucis, cooled by the shimmering cascade of an acid waterfall, and fit to be handled only by a true expert. Do you dance?
You're a little caught off guard by that question. Dancing isn't moving one's body to music. I mean, swordplay is like a dance.
In a way, yes. Moving to the sweet music of steel on steel, the rhythm of combat, the stiletto step that weaves death and glory into one beautiful motion. Do you dance?
Oh, sword fighting, of course. You really should have figured that one out. This guy's dial has only 2 settings, talking about swords or talking about anime. Sometimes he gets particularly frisky and talks about both at once. You tell him that you don't know how to handle swords, but they seem really cool and you'd love to learn.
Cool? Fa! Swordplay is more than cool. It is a way of life, a code of honor. To pick up the blade is to bind yourself to the tenets of Bushido, and to bear at all times to enforce justice the only way swordsman knows, through steel. Someday, the pursuit of justice may bring me face to face with these rebel scum. I must be ready to show them the true, magnificent terror of the blade. Who knows? Maybe I would even be awarded a Congressional Medal of Honor. Congressional Medal of Clowns, right? Clowns are in charge of everything, of course they are. A troll can dare to dream. So that's why you practice swordplay, huh? To enforce justice? Kind of like a vigilante? Vigilante? Please. I would only ever cull a troll who legally deserves death. What kind of lawless moron do you take me for? You don't take him for moron at all. In fact, he's very smart and clever and just.
You hope you're not laying it on too thick, but he seems to enjoy the praise.
Ah, here we are. This won't take too long.
He's taking you to a night market that reminds you of the place where you met Pulipa. A strip mall lies to the left of the many tents and stalls, and a sign above one door reads,
Super Topato Imports.
As you enter, Tegirt makes a beeline line for the counter, which is manned by a greasy-looking gold blood with pinkish-looking eyes. You, on the other hand, are more interested in the rest of the store. It looks a lot like Tegirt's living room, but bigger. Anime figurines on sale for what looks to be a preposterous amount of money. DVDs and comics lining the shelves, arcade games in the corner. There's even a section for replica swords, which all look far too sharp and legitimately deadly for your liking. Skulking between the shelves is an olive blood guy. You can't quite tell if he works here or if he's just browsing. You're not sure if any trolls even have normal jobs. Oh yeah, right. The economy's weird here, isn't it? You're about to ask the olive guy about a particularly interesting DVD when you're distracted by a commotion at the counter. You're pretty sure you heard Tegirt snarling something about his
rights as a consumer.
Looks like trouble's brewing. You turn your head toward the counter and listen in.
Do you really think you can get away with ripping me off like this? Do you know who I am? My blood caste? A teal blood like me has connections. A vast network of like-minded souls is my beck and call, ready to be unsheathed against my hapless foes.
Except he absolutely doesn't. He's an anime weirdo that he has no friends with, sadly. He was about to cancel because there's literally no one else here.
The legal force I can bring to bear against you is greater than your puerile mind could ever imagine. A fleet of legislators will descend on you like shadow clones, each armed with the greatest weapon of them all, knowledge. And with our intricate understanding of the Alternian legal code, you will be mired in suits so myriad, so mind-numbing, you will wish for the swift and early death my blade can provide. Or you can offer me an exchange of equal or greater value to my original purchase. Which path will you choose to walk, scum?
You wander closer to the counter, hoping you might be able to help resolve the situation. But instead, you blunder right into the olive blood and send the box tumbling from his hands to the ground. A bunch of assorted products spill out as the shopkeeper gasps dramatically. You don't see what the big deal is. Looks like some more DVDs and manga. But they're no longer in mint condition. One cover features a troll with heart-shaped horns and a bright pink sign, and another features some red-blooded douchebag wearing pants way too tall for him. Tegirt picks up one of the mangas and waves it in the front of the shopkeeper's face.
Care to explain what I'm looking at here? Imperial Dictate, number the 2nd, section 3.2. The depiction of non-standard homological attributes is strictly forbidden. Imperial Dictate, number the 7th, section 5. Material which encourages action against the state is considered contraband of the highest degree.
The olive blood, who can clearly see the situation careening downhill like a scuttle buggy without wheel stops, begins to creep toward the door. You'd love to do the same, but you can't give up on a potential new friendship. It's basically pathological.
To think that my favorite Eastern Alternian hobby shop could stoop so low as to peddle this criminal filth. What a sickening betrayal.
The shopkeeper stammers, offering a litany of muddled explanations that only seem to incense Tegirt further. He was holding it for a friend. No wait, it's satire? Tegirt slams the palm down on the counter and his eyes shoot open, revealing dark purple irises with a strange swirl pattern. Oh, for fuck's sake, he's going full fucking Naruto even. How do you do that?
Imperial Dictate, number the 61st, section 2. Satire is especially contraband. You think you can mess with me? I watched countless hours of legal drama, played and replayed legendary legislator and memorized every twist. I know the law back and forth. And now it's time for the punishment due. You're fucking dead, kiddo.
As Tegirt leans over the counter, his free hand grips the hilt of his katana and tenses, ready to draw. He's about to straight up execute this guy. Don't interfere? I think, what can we do? It's not. He said he's not a vigilante, he's taking... let's just not interfere. This is even, I don't know shit about the law. You really don't want to get in between the key shopkeeper and Tegirt's sword. For all you know, this really does warrant an immediate execution. Who are you to judge? You do, however, squint a little so you don't have to see the full gory detail of the culling. Turns out it's not nearly as gory as you expected. Tegirt leaps over the counter and swings wildly at the guy, but many of his attacks fail to connect. Yeah, he studied the blade, but never actually It's mostly a bunch of bombastic anime-style moves that don't translate well to actual combat. Still, some strikes hit home, drawing a spray of murky gold blood that jolts the shopkeeper out of his petrified fear. He screeches and unleashes a throbbing, silent blast from his eyes, causing Tegirt to stagger back, disoriented. The flash of light doesn't seem to have caused any real damage, but offers the perfect opportunity to flee. By the time your eyes have adjusted, the only thing they see is the back door swinging wildly in his wake. Unsurprisingly, the olive blood is nowhere to be seen as well. Tcha! Tegirt glances down at his katana, stained with the blood of the shopkeeper, and slowly sheathes it. His hand is shaking, claws tapping the hilt restlessly. He turns slowly to you, forcing himself back into his usual stoic posture.
He got lucky, that's all. But he can't hide forever. Let's go. We need to report this to a drone.
He strides out of the shop, leaving you to follow hurriedly behind. What a mess. You hesitantly ask him whether it was really necessary to try and kill that boy for what he did.
Of course it was. The law is absolute. A foreigner like you might not understand. It is not my duty to question the righteousness of my actions. I am but a tool through which the law is enforced. I am the blade that her imperious condescension wields to maintain order in this world of chaos. Just like this drone.
He gestures to one of the big, hulking drones that you've grown all too familiar with during your stay here on Alternia. Right now, it looks like it's cleaning up some bronze-colored blood that was splattered on the side of a building. Tegirt approaches and hails it, beginning to explain that there is a collector's shop that he needs to report for rebel activity. But the drone isn't listening to any of that. It slowly turns from him to stare directly at you and raises weapons to your face. A grating electronic noise issues from its metallic grill. In the immortal words of a wise cartoon god dog.
Uh-oh. Hold it! This creature is under my protection. It has committed no crime. If you continue this attempted culling, I will strike back with my katana. And a strongly worded letter to your superiors.
The drone seems supremely annoyed they can't just get right down to culling a motherfucker, but Tegirt's cast must be just high enough to give it pause. You, the motherfucker in question, are incredibly relieved. That relief quickly fades when the drone produces a palm husk with a blurry picture of you on the screen and a lot of text beneath. Most of it flashing red. That's never a good sign. It looks like a rap sheet. Yeah, we have a rap sheet. We've aided and abetted a assassin. We've stolen a car. And probably a bunch of other shit. Tegirt reads through it quickly, which is a pretty impressive feat considering his eyes are still closed and his expression darkens the further down he gets.
Wanted under suspicion of meat product theft.
Oh, that happened early on. Yeah, kinda.
Heist of fine art.
Did we do that? Probably.
Accomplice to the assassination of Violet Blood?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Oof. You didn't realize you'd rack up such a heavy list of crimes. He's already rounding on you with a fury radiating off every inch of his being. It's terrifying. You've seen this guy arguing with a retail clerk. You know what he's capable of.
All this time, I thought your soul was open to the way of the Bush Samurai. I thought I had met a potential new connoisseur of the animated arts. But no. Your blood pressure pumps only lies through your villainous veins. You were just looking for an alibi. A place to bide your time. To hide away from the drone until it was time to indulge once more in your criminal ways.
You tried to defend yourself. You didn't do any of those things. And you had a perfectly good reason for most of them. Tegirt isn't buying it. He's clutching his katana's hilt so tight the veins are bulging on his hand.
Silence, coward. The time has come for my blade to strike true. Yeah!
He draws his blade in a smooth motion and swipes at you, and you just barely manage to sidestep the attack. You dart backwards, stumbling over yourself in your haste to get away, while he swings his katana wildly around while making lots of weird grunting noises. Once again, his mouth has been writing a check his hand can't cash, but you doubt that matters when trolls are stronger and faster than you in general, and he's accompanied by a giant murder drone. It's time for you to split, and you better do it lickety. Glancing around, you notice that you're about to cross over a bridge with an underpass beneath it. Perfect. Just like an action hero, you can hop right over the edge on the road, duck into the underpass and find a nice hiding spot. You dash toward the traffic barrier, vault nimbly over it, and oh jeez, this is way higher than you thought it was. You hit the ground hard with a resounding crack, and for a moment your vision goes blank as a wave of pain sears your nerves. As the pain disorientation begins to fade, you decide it's about time to take stock of your situation. A couple of broken bones, old hat, a troll trying to kill you, not unfamiliar, drone sacking you, same, and sun about to rise and scorch you into nothing. Again. Individually, you've risen to the challenge of just barely handling each of those problems, but all at once, yeah, you think you're gonna call this one here. Useless. Yeah. Alright. So he prefers dubs. The fuck? The fuck? I disagree. I disagree with that. The fuck are you talking about? Fuck.
Perfect. A fellow connoisseur.
Really? Fucking dubs? Really? Really? Fucking really?
I disagree. Fuck that. Let's continue.
Tegirt invites you into his hive with a sweeping bow, and you step into the foyer. The hive looked normal from the outside, normal by troll standards at least, but the inner decor has an entirely different vibe to it. It reminds you of Japanese architecture. Tegirt takes off his sandals before entering the room. You take off your shoes too, but you don't have any. As you step into his living room, you are assaulted, not literally thankfully. Untuck a collection, blah 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 blah. Same thing so far on large glass shelving at the states of undress. Yeah, it would be a lie to call that tasteful nudity. Tegirt is arranged meticulously, and there's a fuchsia at the top. Admiring his Easter collections, polishing his blade, folded steel, won't touch them while being breathed on them. We step away from the collectibles anyway. Then to the Shiba Inu, who gazes at us and decides that it's fine. Eventually we meet Stanitz and goes doing something in the kitchen.
That's Dashi Inu, my Lucis. He taught me everything I know. Can I ask for a better sensei?
Yeah, dog's great, which is a very generic statement, but oh well. It could be anything. He's not paying attention, he's picking out some DVDs. Watching some... Okay, but can't start from the middle, can't do that. Actually, no, it's CGI dragons. A pathetic one, I think. You know, less choices, less fuck-ups. It's probably not a healthy way to live, but it's worked out so far. And it makes a chugging noise. Aren't sure if it's a live DVD player, but it's a disgusting thing. It hums and lights up, but then he's gonna pause the episode. Hang on, this isn't the correct copy. Okay, against specifically unacceptable. Okay. Shop important even is important. Okay, so the choice really is, yeah. Okay, so first choice irrelevant. But let's defend the shopkeeper then. Apparently. Okay, you know this is a terrible, terrible idea. But you've seriously had up to here with being party to the murder of random trolls. You quickly interpose yourself between Tegirt and the Goldblood. Does he really have to kill this guy for what seems to be his first offense? You launch into an impassioned spiel about love and friendship and justice, writing the value of forgiveness and second chances really hard, you know, the stuff that anime is all full of. And for good measure, you throw in a little side note about how Tegirt's favorite shop will close down if he kills this dude. So hey, that's clever.
Silence!
Tegirt shoves you roughly aside and you go careening into a display full of body pillows. You watch, stomach plummeting, as Tegirt turns back to the shopkeeper and slowly draws his sword. But then, at the last second, he reconsiders.
Consider yourself lucky I'm in a good mood. If I catch you selling contraband again, your life will be mine.
Tegirt strides out of the store, holding a fresh copy of the DVD he wanted to exchange. You give the shopkeeper a vaguely apologetic look and rush out of the store behind him. Phew, that was a close one. You thank Tegirt profusely for listening to your dumb little speech about whatever it is you said. Honestly, you already kind of forgot.
You're clearly new to this planet. I felt pity for your naivete. I should have just killed him. That is the legally prescribed punishment for such crimes as his. Actually, it's the legally prescribed punishment for most crimes. I should have separated him from his head. But I looked into your bleeding eyes, and I saw.
Tegirt goes quiet. You describe the silence as being particularly brooding. There's a lot of sounds like that on this planet. And then, finally, he speaks.
This isn't my first time. It was just over a sweep ago, I believe. I was patrolling the hive patch in what search of evildoers when I caught the unmistakable scent of smoke in the air. Upon pursuing the lead, I saw Hive, partially collapsed, partially on fire. My instincts flared, and I rushed in to help the innocent soul who was trapped there. But as I was helping the girl bandage her wounds, it occurred to me that I had made a grievous error in judgment. Trolls below a certain age without a lucis, or a proper hive, are considered unviable and slated to be culled. By rights, I should have put her out of her misery the moment I realized my mistake. And yet, I looked into her eyes, deep grey eyes, dulled from the pain of loss, and I sheathed my blade. Even though she's hiveless and luceless, I remain in contact with her to this day, knowing deep down that one day I must cull her. The law demands it. But I haven't yet. I don't know if I could. Why does my conviction waver at times like these?
If he's talking about who you think he's talking about, you're pretty sure he couldn't kill her even if he tried. Which one? But that's not the real point here. The point is he's spilling some real and true and deep emotion with you. This friendship is basically in the bag. Just gotta drop some sweeping, vague wisdom that makes him feel better about potentially not being an unthinkable thinking cog in the Alternia murder machine. You offer a light suggestion that maybe what is legal and what is just aren't always the same thing. Just a little thought. Maybe he's doing the right thing, overlooking her situation because of how obviously fucked up it is to be a homeless orphan. He goes silent for a long time, chewing his bottom lip.
Tch, you're naive. Naive, uncultured, unenlightened.
Wow, thanks.
You think the world is simple, like a cartoon for children. But this is Alternia. A land ruled by cold logic, where men such as myself must make the hard decision.
Well, you're a boy. Adults go off-plant.
It's not easy being dedicated to the code of law. It asks much of us and gives us little in return. But it gives us order. It keeps the beasts at bay. If I were to question it, what then? Would I begin to wonder if it's unjust for a blue blood to command his servants? For the imperial drones to cull the infirm? For us to obey the ever-changing whims of the Alternian royalty?
It takes a lot of effort to suppress your well, yeah, but for the sake of this burgeoning friendship, you allow him to continue his monologue.
Riots in the streets. Troll killing troll. Even more than usual, I mean. No, I cannot waver. These hands must remain steady and true. Though I feel a pull toward the scorching fangs of the light, I must continue my path and remain in the tender, righteous embrace of the dark. Truth be my blade, intellect my sensei, and justice my only companion on this lonely road.
And he goes on like that for quite a while. It all starts to muddle together in your head and you kind of lose count of how many times he's repeated some creed about justice and truth and being smarter than all the other trolls in the room. It honestly sounds to you just like he's lonely. He's just lonely. You know a whole lot about loneliness and the poor management thereof. Some people throw themselves into their nerdy anime hobby, and others become obsessed with making friends no matter the cost to their mental or physical well-being. Maybe he just needs a couple of good pals to remind him what it's like to have a heart. Well, if you try to tell him that, he'll probably just respond with another long and winding monologue likely stolen from an anime he watched recently. Maybe you should just let him vent.
You have my thanks for lending your ear.
Oh, a compliment brings you out of your reverie. Nothing interrupts the old introspection machine like the opportunity to chug on the succulent ambrosia that is any kind of praise or gratitude. It's no big deal, Tom. You're a great listener. That's what friends are for. Has he considered having more friends? Like you, for example? He opens his mouth like he's about to reiterate the whole lone swordsman thing, so you hastily try to change the topic. What's with the eyes? Most trolls you've seen had grey irises, and those who didn't followed the typical biological trend of displaying their blood color. Tegirt pauses, his grip tensing on his sword as his fangs dig into his lip. Ah, geez, this must be his most closely guarded secret. Have you earned enough trust to hear it?
They're contact lenses. For cosplay, of course they are.
Oh, fair enough. Actually, is cosplaying as a different blood caste even legal on this planet? If he's doing it, it probably is, right? You're about to ask when something distracts you. The sight of another troll standing in front of Tegirt's hive, using their shelter from the rising sun. They're pacing back and forth with precise movements, glancing at one of the windows almost like they're plotting to break in. And when they hear footsteps approaching, they perk up and whirl their head around. Hey, wait a second, you recognize them! Oh, hi! Oh, Polypa. Polypa spots you right before Tegirt spots her. Her expression is hard and stoic. eyes glancing between the two of you as she assesses the situation. And then, like she's throwing on a disguise, her face softens and she smiles. God, she's ripped actually. Look at those muscles. I forgot what voice I did for her. Hey, Tegs. No. Hey, Tegs. Maybe. Ah, fuck, I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long. I was starting to wonder where you were and if Anime Night was cancelled. Oh, she's the anime. Oh. Ulysses is staring at me through the window. I think he thinks it's funny, watching me stuck outside. Roasting to death while you're chasing fur beasts around the hot batch. Ha! Classic Tadashi. Why were you late? Just busier than expected, with some work. She shoots you a sharp glance. Assembling some new mecha models. Do you know how it is? Yes, of course. It's all too easy to get wrapped up in one's hobby. Anyway, I didn't realize we'd have a third, for once. Not to mention, somebody I know. Nani? You and my new kohai have already met, for fuck's sake. Also, there's an you in the kohai? She pauses, her eyes darting back and forth between you two once more. She seems to be assessing the situation, wearing a look like an assassin trying to evade capture, which she is. You recognize that look, considering she was literally wearing it the last time you met. We're kinda morals. Whoa, that's absolutely not what you thought you were, but you just kind of nod your head and roll with it. It seems to be what she wants you to do. Oh, morals. Tegirt's face tightens almost imperceptibly, but you caught it. Nothing gets past your own friend-making eyes. Well, actually, a lot of things get past them, but not this particular thing. You're finely tuned to the nuances of social situations, as long as those nuances don't involve making a binary choice on which your social future hinges. Well, as you know, I am far too busy studying the blade to pursue quadrants of any sort. A foolish waste of time. Were it not for the laws of this land, I would swear off them entirely. Are you sure it isn't? That you just can't get a date? You don't have to play the mysterious loner, you know? There's other clubs you could join, instead of insisting on running your own. He huffs, looking away. You hear his Lucis barking from behind the window, in a tone that sounds like laughter. Fools mock that which they cannot understand. And to think I was going to congratulate you on finding love. Once you finished your spiel about romance being dumb, Bulba gives him a light, friendly whap, which he responds to with a smile. You can tell the exchange is friendly not only because he's smiling, but because he's still standing. Enough banter. These harsh glares of the sun begins to crest, and we have Eastern Alternian animation to indulge in. I'll allow you both to spend a day at my hive, if needed. There's space. Oh shit, a slumber party? And with more than one participant even? Oh, that's gotta be worth extra friend points. You are so in. Shelter from the brawling death orb in the sky barely even registers to you as an added bonus. Bulba smiles at you as the three of you enter Tegirt's hive. Tegirt covers up all of his windows to block out the sun, and then starts up the new copy of his DVD, which thankfully seems to meet his standards this time. Ah, the Lucis had a pop-up thing. I didn't notice that. I only noticed it though. Ah, shit. Fuck. What did it say? What did it say? I won't know until I rewatch this. Oh well. You settle in on the couch, basking in the warm glow of friendship, and prepare to lose yourself into 2 hours of the beautiful, wonderful animes. Yay. Anime night. And of course we're drinking Fago. Or something like that. Green slop. Oh, that's fine. Well, that's nice. Yay. Instead of dying by jumping off a bridge, we have friends and a nerd. That's fine. That's fine. This was okay. This was fine. This was good. This was silly. Subs are better than dubs.